I would like to describe detachment as taking your power back from the things that you've overinvested power into, and basically nurturing yourself back into believing you can take care of yourself. A lot of times what happens is people get really attached to other people, especially when we're dating. You get highly invested, very attached to a person, and a lot of times it's not even the person themselves. It's like this idea that you've built on this person. And that can lead to a lot of heartache, especially when that situation hasn't warranted this level of attachment. And so let's just talk about how we can work through this and how we can detach. The first step is accepting that you are in a rut, that you have misplaced your power into somebody else or something else, and you have somehow neglected a part of yourself that feels safe, and you're putting that safety, security into a whole other person. Then you're basically telling the universe that you need this whole other person in order to feel safe and secure. And you have to analyze the situation and try to figure out what it is that that person is providing you that you don't think you can live without. Are they giving you the love you think you need to survive? Are they providing for you? Are they helping you feel less lonely? What is it that they're providing you that you think you can't live without? And sometimes it's not even that they're providing those things. It's just your brain telling you that they can provide that for you. And you latch on to the idea of it instead of the actual reality of what's happening. When you detach, what you're doing is basically taking a few steps back and looking at it from the bigger picture. Because when you're attached, when you're highly attached, you're so zoomed in, you have such crazy tunnel vision about what you are expecting, what you want, how things should go, that you don't actually see the reality of what's going on around you. So after you take a couple steps back and you see the bigger picture, list out how you're feeling about the situation. You feel like you're going to die if they don't text you back. You think you're going to die if they don't call you back. You think this is the only person on the planet that you're meant to be with. You're never going to find love ever again. None of which are true, by the way. And then after that, after you write your absurd list of lies, basically, you're going to go in and rewrite everything you wrote. Is it true? Is this the only person that can give you love? No. Is this the only person left on the planet for you? No. Are you going to die without this person? No. You're absolutely fine regardless. You're a living, breathing human being not attached to anybody. You are your own autonomous being, and you're going to be just fine without this person. I'm willing to bet if I took you and threw you on a deserted island and told you that you have to fend for yourself, you would find a way to do it. You would learn to fish, you would learn how to make a fire, you'd build a hut, you do all the things in order to survive. Because that is who you are at your core. You're a self-sufficient, beautiful, amazing, capable person. You do not need this other person to survive. Okay? Let's say that you just like this person because of the future you've envisioned with them. They have a certain lifestyle that they want. They have a work ethic that you like. They have a group of friends that you, whatever it is, there is something about them that is making you feel the way you feel. And now your job is to learn what that's teaching about you. A lot of times when we find ourselves attached to people like that, it is literally just us wanting to be them. I'm not even kidding. If you take a look around at the people you fall in love with, the things about them that you like are just things that you want more of in your life. Start investing all the energy that you're investing in this person to yourself. And you know what that's going to do? That is literally going to make you feel like I am taking care of myself. I am capable of taking care of myself because I'm doing it right now. That part of me that feels hurt, that feels ignored, that feels neglected right now, I'm taking care of that part. I'm not relying and waiting around for this person to call me, text me, message me to make me feel worthy, because I'm taking the rein in my hands and I'm doing it for myself. The mistake that a lot of people make that leads to detachment in the first place is reacting. You're talking to somebody, for example, and everything's going well, everything's going great, they start to pull away. Your immediate reaction is, oh no, I want that again. Let me give them more. Let me see what's up. And then it happens again. You give more just to get back to where it was. It happens again, and it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle that keeps happening. And as a result of that, what that does is it literally attaches you. Like mentally, your brain is addicted now. This person has become the main focus of your life because that's the only thing giving you dopamine, because that's the amount of power you're giving it. With every interaction, everything you do in life is literally you communicating with the universe. Everything you think and everything you want, everything you do is mirrored back to you by the world. And so if you are seeing somebody that's giving you hot and cold behavior, they're actually not texting you when you want them to, they're not giving you the attention that you want them to, and you're rewarding that with double texts, calling them multiple times a day, sitting around, checking for them, waiting for them, you know what that's signaling to the universe? It's telling the universe that that's exactly the kind of behavior you want, that you're good with that. That's what you're willing to settle for. And you know what? You're going to get more of that. The universe is going to reward your current mindset with more of that behavior. And that's not what we're looking for. So your job isn't to get the guy. Your job at this point, when you find yourself in a state of attachment, is to realign yourself, go inward, figure out what it is that's triggering you, why you're so attached to this person, and how to snap out of it. Once you get to that place of not needing any validation, not caring, living for yourself, pouring love into yourself, that's exactly what you're going to get from everyone around you. I promise. So your job right now, when you're obsessively attached to somebody, isn't to get the guy or the girl. It's to realign yourself with the best version of who you are. And love should not feel like an uphill battle. You should not feel like you're carrying a heavy stone up a hill to get love. That's not love. That's just self-torture. You're torturing yourself for literally no reason. No one asked you to do that. Instead of letting things unfold the way they naturally should, you're trying to take control of the narrative. You're trying to take control of the outcome, the expectations, and have them go your way, when that is not what you should be doing. Your job is not to work so hard to get what you want. You just do your part and pray and affirm that you will get the results. And the reason affirmations work, especially when you're in a state of attachment and anxiety, is because you're already looping negative thoughts in your mind. So the best way to challenge those looping negative thoughts is literally by replacing them with other words or other thoughts that feel better. So if you're attached, if you feel unloved, if you don't feel worthy, listening to affirmations that can help with all of that and then repeating them to yourself throughout the day, it does wonders. Just try it. Try it for a week. Try it for a week and tell me how you feel, because I'm telling you, they work. Once you surrender, you will be shocked at all the things that just fall into your lap once you surrender to God, the universe, whatever you believe in. The power of letting go is so insane. And attachment too. When you're attached to something, you're basically living in a scarcity mentality. You're living in not enoughness. You're living in feeling like this is your last opportunity, the last chance for you to find love, the last chance for you to make money, whatever it is. That is just simply not true. And because you're in that mentality of not enoughness, you're just going to get more of that from the universe. You're just going to get more evidence of there not being enough, not enough for you. Because when you have that issue, when you have an issue with wanting things to go the way you want them to, getting really attached to outcomes, getting attached to relationships, to people, what you're basically doing is taking control of everything. What you want to do is have control over everything because you know what's best, and you think you have to do everything on your own in order to get that outcome. And so as a result, what you're doing is literally taking power away from God, taking power away from the universe, and saying that I am the only entity that has control over this. I am the only person that can have this unfold the way that it needs to unfold, when that is so not true. When you feel it slipping, I think a lot of times, especially with relationships, what people do is when they feel that person slipping, they cling on even harder. You cling on even harder. You start double texting. You start calling them more. You just feel like you have to cling on to them in order to keep them. You shouldn't have to cling that hard onto anything to keep it. Especially a relationship. You should never have to cling on to a person. The person should just stay put. They should just be there. You should be holding hands, not suffocating them, okay? So someone might be slipping, and what you'll do is like double text. You'll start calling them more. You start checking for them more. All of a sudden, this like curiosity about where they went has turned into a full-blown obsession. And that's where the attachment becomes incredibly unhealthy. And so my advice is, when you feel someone slipping, let them slip. Let them go. And the reason I say that isn't because, oh, you're like, be cold-hearted, don't love anyone. No, it's literally because as soon as you start reacting to the slipping with more attention, more focus, you're signaling to the universe that when something is running from you, you're going to chase it. You like that challenge. You like the chase. You want that. And so what you get is more evidence of that in your reality. And then that one double text that you sent, that one extra phone call that you made, that one extra glance that you took at your phone to see where they are, turns into a full-blown obsession. And when you start to get anxious, the last thing you should do is act. Because what that signals to your brain is, okay, I'm anxious, and so the way I deal with this anxiety is by double texting. The way I deal with this anxiety is by checking for them, looking for them, checking if they called, calling them. And that's basically a habit that you start building where you're like, okay, well, every time I get anxious, this is what I do. So default, we're going to start texting them. We're going to get clingy. We're going to look for them everywhere. We're going to get so attached that we feel like we're going to die without them. That's basically what happens. And another reason why we don't act when we feel them slipping is because when you're in that state of anxiety and you call them or text them or do whatever unhealthy thing that you're about to do, it signals to your brain that that is how you deal with the anxiety. So when I get anxious, when I feel like someone's slipping from me, when I feel like someone's losing interest, I'm going to reward that behavior with more attention. And then all of a sudden, this one double text that you sent turns into 3 or 5. And then this one extra call that you made turns into 3 or 5. And all of a sudden the universe thinks, oh my God, this girl loves to chase. She loves it. She's a freaking speed racer. She's going to chase this guy up and down the globe. And we're going to give her more of this. And so then you start seeing evidence of more of that in your world. And you don't want that. Nobody wants that. And so my advice to you, if there's anything that you're going to take away from this video, it's that you are capable of dealing with so much on your own. You don't need anybody. I mean, don't be like weird, like make friends and stuff. Talk to people, but don't ever give somebody else the power to feel like they need you in order to survive, because you don't. Thank you guys for watching. This is the first video I've ever made, so if it helped you in any way, please let me know. Thank you. Bye.